Now, those guys back there, one of them had on major gold jewelry. That's not a tip-off to you? That's not necessarily meaning anything?
No, that's not necessarily meaning
No.
anything.
Boy, would I be a bad cop. I mean,
Right.
yeah, throw back to Daryl Gates. They'd have...
Like the group that we have targeted, you wouldn't know that they're gang members, but somewhere along their body they have a tattoo that says that they are.
1811 RT 1821.
Are they as organized as, say, the mafia? Are they? Is there a chain of command that's clear?
It's not a clear chain of command, but they have the potential to be organized. But
Do some of them graduate to more organized crimes?
yeah, some of them do graduate to, like, say, like the Mexican mafia. Okay. Here's some people here that to your right. Okay. See, like a park like this is typically a problem because it's open to the public. Now these guys here are getting in their cars because they see us. But it's constant loitering down here. There are drug sales that happen here.
And those guys you would see as suspicious?
Oh, I know they're gang members because of the colors they wear in this area.
What colors are those?
This is a blood area, which is red.
Traffic 630 West Santa Cruz, code 21055.
And that is typically where they park their cars and associate.
West Side! West Side! West Side!
Red Mazda, code 2 incident 3770.
Now, if these guys were named in the injunction, you would be able to do something about it because there'd be more than two.
Right. If they were all named in the injunction.
Correction, 877, the shooting in progress, 47
But they're Bloods.
They are a blood gang. This is the rival to the gang that we have targeted.
As a crash unit, do you also deal with them?
Yes.
You deal with any gang activity in your
Yeah,
area?
we deal.
You're not just specializing in 18th Street. Okay.
Well,
Me and my partner specialize in 18th Street, but then we deal with every other gang here.
we have certain officers that are assigned to certain gangs within our area.
Right.
And myself and Officer Nico and Masuno are assigned to the 18th Street gang.
There are people
this
in my
looks-
unit who can identify these guys by just looking at them, like I can identify my gang by looking at who these guys are.
This is such a peaceful looking park. What would be going on there with gang members besides hanging out?
Narcotic sales, and like during any type of shooting or like a funeral or some kind of celebration, it's not unusual to see them over here 100 or 200 deep or thick in that park.
I suppose there'd be plenty of people that say, well, why not? They're friends, they're not doing anything wrong.
There's nothing wrong with being with friends, but the problem is when they start having guns around there where kids can get to it, then they're inviting other rival gang members to come up here because they might want to pay someone back for doing a shooting, and they know that there's a party there, and they just like open up their gunfire on the park, not picking out the guy that they want.
Right. By these gang members congregating, they are causing, even though it's not illegal to hang out with each other, they are causing a danger to the community because by them being gang members, it causes other rival gangs to come by and commit.
Kind of like a magnet. They bring other gang members here because there's always somebody. From my experience, it seems like there's always somebody who goes to school or knows somebody about a party, and it gets word to the other gang members, and then they find out about it, and then they decide to come over here and do a shooting.
How many female gang members in the 18th Street gang?
I would say they probably account for about I say maybe like a quarter of the percent. I mean a quarter of the gang.
Are they often arrested for felonies?
Yes. A lot of times they are the drivers of a drive-by shooting vehicle. They're usually the ones who hold the narcotics or hold the guns. A lot of times they're the ones waiting in the car when they commit robberies. And a lot of times they are the ones who relay the information about, hey, our rival gang is having a party over here because I have a girlfriend in school who told me that she's going out with one of them. And that's how they relay that information.
Have you had any feedback from people since the injunction went into effect, like from the community, or?
I had a few.
And what do they say?
That they say that they feel that their neighborhood is beginning to feel safe to them, that they don't see the active gang members out here as much, that the graffiti has gone down.
What a relief that must be.
What's that?
What a relief that must be.
Oh, it's a great relief, especially if you have to live there.
This looks like a really nice. Okay.
There's a few guys right there. Which is an area known for narcotics too.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
381 code 6 Charles indicated, verify your location.
And typically, you know, something like that where these guys are hanging out, there's nothing we can really do about it except tell them to go away.
381 is code 6 Charles.
Can you really tell them to go away? They're not doing anything wrong.
Well, you know, if somebody complains about it, we can tell them, hey, if you don't live here, people are complaining about you, but it kind of really makes it hard for us to do any kind of enforcement on it.
But the injunction makes it easier.
The injunction makes it much easier because a citizen calls and says, hey, there's gang members out here and they're either dealing drugs or doing something. Whether we find the drugs or the narcotics or not, they can go to jail.
If they're named in the
If they're
injunction.
named in the injunction.
Yeah.
There's some of their graffiti right here to our
That's their
right.
graffiti right there.
That's 18th Street?
That's their. But you see that they are crossed out.
You see where they have 18th Street and the K?
Oh, right.
18 and the K. The K means killers. So they're 18th Street killers. You got West Side, EPS, West Side Black Peace Stories. And up there you see jungles. That's what the gang members call this particular area. They call it the jungles. And you got the C, which is crossed out. That means they're crossing out Crips. They're crossing out 18, and they're putting a K. So they're Crip and 18 killers.
All right. What do you mean? Who would they be?
It's a different gang than the 18s and
The Crips?
yeah.
Right. Just about any Crip gang they will kill, and anybody in 18th Street.
Because they're bloods. They don't
they're
get along
bloods.
with Crips, and they don't get along with 18th Street.
Right.
So
They might get along with other Hispanic gangs, but if you're an 18th Streeter, you're definitely gonna get killed.
So they wouldn't come into this neighborhood probably, the 18th Street people.
No, they wouldn't. Matter of fact, the problem we had is a lot of the 18th Streeters
Great.
used to go to Dorsey High School, and
Any air unit coming in on southwest frequency.
Supervisor, can you hear that?
Did you ever hear the Eddie Murphy takeoff on Mr. Rogers?
No.
These are the people in your neighborhood. It's great.
I feel 21 hard.
He said today's word is
there goes
bit.
18th Street right there.
Was it?
Wait, Raphael out there.
Oh, that's-
Going in the
car?
building?
Did you see that?
they don't know who he is.
Oh, you could be really bad to him, couldn't
Right.
you? I mean, if you were to go up to him and identify him as an 18th Streeter in
He
this
would never be
neighborhood,
seen here again. He probably doesn't have as many tattoos showing, and he's probably not dressed. Because there have been some 18th Streeters who used to live here, but they basically gotten taken out. I mean, thrown out of here or moved out.
you knew him by name,
Right.
Right.
even though there are like 400 in those files back at
We
the office.
we have as much contact with him as we have with anybody else in the target area.
Is he named in the injunction?
No.
No, he's not.
Any harbor, domestic violence, restraining order on file, each owner.
It is. That's a real surprise.
Unit open window, fleeing on
And like I said, when we drive around, we can name these guys just almost on sight because we've known them for 2 or 3 years already.
Right. A lot of times when we stop these guys, it's not. We're not stopping them to detain them. A lot of times I'll come up and I'll just talk to these guys, and they'll talk to us back. You know, I've even had gang members, call us over because they just want to talk.
Right.
Not all, we have contact with them all the time, and it's not all because it's something involved criminally. you know, they get used to us, and we end up, you know, getting used to these guys, and sometimes they just talk to us.
I'm gonna show you another neighborhood where the same gang hangs out, and I'll show you the difference with like the graffiti and all that stuff.
Okay. Do you ever actually get out of the car?
Yeah, we get out of the car. Not with you guys.
Should,
Oh,
no,
you
I mean,
guys
should you? I mean, we would
Yeah,
want to shoot that from a wide, you know,
Yeah.
not close up, but.
we were told just just show you around.
Oh, really? Well, if
Unless you want to chase after us and stuff, that's fine.
Yeah. Anything you might
could be
do.
like the LAPD show. You're running with the camera, jumping over fences.
Right. Reality television. I love those. They call them cop reality shows. It's like, you know, once you introduce the camera, folks, it ain't reality. It's maybe close, but not the real thing.
Yeah, we're going to
4-2 in Hoover.
Purchase 25011 Brampton Avenue. And if vehicle in the middle of the street, delay flight possible towards north to 234 712.
I can tell that you're coming. Oh, this is Baldwin Hills. This is nice. Baldwin Hills. I'm so naive. I didn't know they had gangs in Baldwin Hills. They probably have gangs in Malibu. I didn't even know.
You know, some of the kids from Malibu come down here to be gang members.
Really?
Man, they're like
Wannabes.
kind of like weekend warriors, you know, like they can go home and say, hey, I'm in a gang, I'm in a street gang, then brag to their friends.
Yeah, this is good. It's like a plaza, you know? People on the East Coast.
They foul up stereotypes immediately just by showing them what these neighborhoods look like. The East Coast has a different idea of bad neighborhood.
This is bad.
No, Baldwin Hills is not, but even where we were.
Just made a shadow get cut in the ground.
So crazy.
Yeah, it's funny because like the gang members who come from the East Coast, like New York, they always want to move back to New York.
They do?
Yeah, because they say that it's too dangerous out here for them.
Really?
Yeah, because they they say like in New York, if you had a beef with somebody, you go up to him, you know, man to man, shoot him in the head. Here, these guys like drive by and just start shooting everybody, and you know he has nothing to do with this beef, and then all of a sudden he gets shot in the leg, you know. And I've had a few people from New York tell me that.
You told me signs, right?
Yeah.
But
Before
that's
you
not,
sign.
doesn't necessarily mean anything. Does it?
No. But that shows you where kids are growing up. You know, they're already learning how to throw gang signs.
Even though that they might not have actually been throwing gang signs or that was really innocent, something like that, if another gang saw it, you know, might take that in a different way and shoot those kids just because of that.
And if a camera crew came out with us and we wanted to, you know, film gang members, they'd all
They would all come
They'd
out.
all run out to the car and everybody be there throwing their signs and everything. They love to throw the attention in front of the camera. So, you know, they'd get a bunch of gang members out there and it'd be no problem. But, you know, now that this injunction is in place, they all hide.
Yeah.
I'm just still surprised by that. I don't get why these tough guys, these bad guys, would be so scared of a civil lawsuit that just says you can't congregate. It's a strange thing to me. They could still be arrested for it. But where does that fear come from, I wonder? It's just that they want to keep making money and they don't want to go to jail and waste time.
I think part of the fear is the unknown. They don't
Right.
know what an injunction entails.
Plus, it's like you're specifically being targeted. You know, it's not just like, you know,
They see their name on
It's
that
just
paper.
you're named on it. It's like out of everyone in the 18th Street gang, you're the one who got picked,
And that's a little scarier.
and that's a little scary. That's kind of like putting out like the FBI's like 10 most wanted list to them. I mean, some of them. I mean, I know like some of them were proud of it. I mean, there was people, and then I know there was a named defendant on the Injunction who was like bragging to his friend who told me that I'm on the top of the list. I'm the #1 guy, and he was like really proud of it. But I told him, I said, you gotta tell that guy to realize that it's an alphabetical order. Then he kind of like popped his ego a little bit.
They were served with the papers.
Right.
That it really took them by surprise. It sort of stunned some of these guys. Did you hear that? That they sat down and read the whole thing and were surprised?
Well, they looked through it. I mean, they just couldn't figure it out. One of the named defendants in the Injunction was all he saw was that he's being sued by the city of LA, and he was asking me how much money we wanted from him.
Really? He thought he had to pay?
Where's that?
Go by Budlong next one.
Okay. What they got there?
With the Polaroid exposition in Budlong.
He just wants a Polaroid. I don't know if he got gangster stuff or whatever.
Respond in about 20 seconds here.
3 19, 3 crash 43 in response.
Go by there. They got some.
Expo and Budlong? Okay, we'll go down there real quick.
What's happening there?
They want a crash unit down there. I don't know if it's just for a camera. Maybe they're
Because all of them.
But you're going to put it down.
I thought so too, but
oh, big dip.
Hector, are you on? Mike Messenger, yo.
So Mary 51, 4 David 199870101. 683 GMC pickup. Ernest Freeman, 622 East 51st Street. Expiration 73197.
What are you looking for?
Hey, Jody, switch up.
They're looking for it.
This.
I'll take my number.
So Mary 51, go ahead.
Nothing?
What's up?
Oh, okay. Just want the graffiti.
They're just photoing graffiti.
Yeah. One thing about working the gang unit here, we do focus a lot on the graffiti because it's like the newspaper to the gangs, and it tells us a lot of what's going on and who runs the territory and who's the active players.
So when you said you called one thing a roll call,
Roll call.
that just is a matter of who was there doing it?
Well,
Not necessarily who was there doing it. It might be whoever. Usually, who's ever writing it is their name's usually first. But what it is
no.
they'll write their friend's name up there, or they might write who's
No,
there.
I didn't copy. What was that?
Hey, once you're back at Expo and Budlong.
A lot of times they'll just write up there some of their real close friends in the game.
Usually it's the most active players in the neighborhood, or people who you call like done work for the neighborhood.
You have to call that dumb on one level. It's like an advertisement to the police. Here's who we are, and here's what we're doing. It's almost like a dare.
Right.
We own this territory, and there's nothing you can do about it.
But it's a message not to the police. It's mostly a message to the other gangs who come in this to that neighborhood.
Switch to tax 4 through French 43. Mary 51, North 72.
I mean, like you say, I mean, a lot of times it is a good way for us to see that kind of advertisement, because sometimes they will say that they will, like if we make major arrest in the area, you will see writing on the wall that says like 187 the police, which means murder the police. 187 standing for the penal California Penal Code for murder.
Oh, is that right?
I got a picture of them. Something.
Did you know? 187?
Off the cops. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Summit 51, to run 101st, we're David 19987.
What do you guys want?
Roger, I'm down.
Let me see what these guys want real quick.
The crash
going
guys.
down?
What the WS is?
Can we? Well, this cat. Well, would it catch on paper? What does this tell you?
Right. What the WS is in front, that's for West Side, and the FTB, that's for Fruittown Brim, which is a local blood gang that we have here. And over here you got the CK, and the C's crossed out because the C stands for Crip. And if anything with the C, they'll cross it out, and the K stands for killer. So that's Crip killer, and 3700 is basically their clique.
So that tells you what?
That tells me who's writing this. They didn't put up their name on it. They're letting me know that they're blood gang members, and since they're blood, they represent themselves with the color red. So that's why it's in red. So what it tells me, they're just throwing up their gang name, what clique they're from, and they're saying that they're disrespecting.
Hey, hold on to that van.
So, message to the Crips.
Basically, it's a message to the Crips that this is a blood territory.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I just think you know that when you talk about like kids that we stop all the time. This is like one of the youngest juveniles here. This is about the third time I saw him in the station. Within the last.
You got a kid doing this?
Yeah. Was involved with other things before, and he was brought to the station, and then a couple days ago I saw him at the station for another charge, and now he's doing this. Okay.
How old is he, do you think?
I forgot how old he is. He's about like 13 or 14, and he's basically a blood gang member. When I first met him, he totally denied it, and the way I picked up on that he was a blood gang member is like the way they cross out the C's. They will never use that in their vocabulary. That's why I said, hey, when you get older, you'll get sent to county jail. He would say, I don't care about going to bounty jail. Go bounty, because they use the B word for everything. If they say cigarette, they'll say biggerette. So if they say city, they say biddy. They always cross out that C word.
So he's been. So what will happen to him now?
He's going to be arrested for misdemeanor vandalism.
And
Talk about it, man.
Get back, sir. Go cross the street. Go back.
No? I thought you said you want to talk about it. You want to talk about it now? Okay. They can just show your feet. You want to talk about it now? No? Okay. That's fine.
you weren't worried about doing this in the middle of the day? Like when you could be caught? And it just seems kind of daring to do it in the middle of the day when cops could find you. No problem?
I didn't do that. My friend did that.
Your friend did that? Even though they caught you with a spray can?
Why is your fingertips red?
Oh, yeah, so I was rocking in.
Huh?
His friend did it.
You want to say anything else?
His friend did it.
It's good seeing you again.
Good seeing you too.
All right, Memo. Good catch, Memo. Big fish. What time we've had him? Yes.
And this was like within like last week, from last week to today. Last time he was with a guy with a gun.
Last time he was with a guy with a gun, so it's not so innocent.
No.
Sure, he's got a few things.
They all ran.
How young do you think he is?
He's 14, isn't he?
14? 14.
What do you think his future is going to be?
With this attitude, from what I've talked to him and from every dealing I had with him, he's so down for his neighborhood and for his gang that he doesn't have a future. He's either going to be dead by the time he's 18 or he's going to be in prison, guaranteed. Unless is, he makes a change and decides, hey, this is ridiculous and I'm going to stop.
Starts with graffiti in the afternoon?
It starts with graffiti, and then after that, his the older gang members will respect him for it. And before you know it, hey, here's a gun, let me see you shoot somebody. And then after, once you shoot somebody, well, maybe we'll let you in the business of selling cocaine a little bit. And then, have you make some money on the side.
Waste of a life. No. Okay. That's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Back in the cars?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll show him the Fortune Hoover just to show him the graffiti up there.
Okay.
Compared to how it is in A1's there.
I'm learning how to read it.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, like I was telling you though, it's like a lot of times you will, when you interview these gang members, and they deny it. Okay, if I say, hey, you're an 18th Street gang member, or you're a Harpies gang member, you will deny it all you want. You don't have the tattoo, so I'm kind of saying, you're dressed like this. I'm kind of like saying, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're not a gang member. Maybe you're just friends with this guy. And then there's little things that I always say, like so, okay, where do you live at? I live here. Where I live there. Say if like you're a Harpy gang member. I say, hey, where do you live? I live here, I live there. Okay, how old are you? I'm fake teen. Okay? Fake teen is the derogatory for 18th Street, which is the rival gang. By you saying fake teen, then all of a sudden I go, you're a gang member.
So you have to be a real expert in all of the language of all of the
You have to
gangs.
understand what they say.
They each have their own language.
Right. I mean, people who don't work the gang, they can miss that. Like this kid right here, I would have thought maybe he just was unjustly like picked up by the police being in a perimeter, and maybe he's not a gang member because I said, I'm not a gang member, I'm not this. Then I see like a red handkerchief in his pocket, and then he says, hey man, what are you doing with my flag? Hey,
That tells you he's a
I
blood.
said, what are you doing with these cigarettes? Hey, I don't smoke cigarettes. They cross out the city, and then you start saying, this kid's a gang member, whether he has tattoos or not.
Okay. Good.
Okay, this neighborhood is a offset of the same gang. I've seen the same people that was been targeted in the Injunction in this area at the same time.
Does it say it on that wall?
Right.
Right here to your right.
Oh, okay.
Right here on the right. I mean, this is how the graffiti was in the target area before the Injunction. It was always like that, and like I said, in all the garages, anything that was white, it was that way.
And this is outside the Injunction
This
area.
is outside the Injunction area.
So it's still going on here.
It's still going on here.
The stairs too.
Different ways.
They got it right here. They got
5-3.
Right, that's the click. 5-3 is the click.
5-3 means 53rd Street. 53rd Street, this is 41st Street. 53rd Street is all the way down, and they come up here and they mark up this area.
53rd Street click.
Do you know who G-Boy is?
Actually, that's an S.
S-Boy.
Shy Boy.
Sad Boy? Yeah, just tell me what it says.
It says West Side 18th Street, and that's from the 53rd Street. That's what the 5-3 stand for.
So that's a clique of the 18th Street gang.
Right. And then it says East Side 53rd, and I can't make out the other one on the bottom. This is
But
kind of
it's
like
all different ways of
That's
18.
a TLS. It's
TLS.
locals. And then you got
Okay.
under the S boy, you got, it looks like it says Trampa.
Tampa. And then XV3 is another way to say 18th Street. 10, 5, and 3.
Cancel 63 off.
So this would be where they're still hanging out and doing business.
This particular clique is.
This is just a couple of blocks away or less than a mile away from where we saw the blood.
The blood gang.
Graffiti.
Right.
Well, that's a little close for comfort, isn't it? These
Right.
guys cross paths.
They do at times.
Good one, take by me.
Go American, go ahead.
See, these neighborhoods here could be the same way as the target area. They could be improved.
So do you think that this is a neighborhood that would be right for an injunction? In other words, that could be helped by one?
Right. This is the way the target area used to look.
Lots of graffiti.
Lots of graffiti.
Boarded up windows.
Mary 51, Regina, Lockridge, Charles, 2750280. License status, suspended or revoked.
See, then you go down we were at 41st Street. This is 42nd Street.
And there's more of it.
And You see it here. XV3, which means 18th Street. 18 written on big letters. 5-3. Same guys. S Boy and.
So the same guys did this, do you think?
Well, their names are on it. I wouldn't say it might be the same. It might be a different guy. I would say it's the top guy, the little C. Usually it's the guy on the top of the roll call that usually does it. Kind of give himself that credit.
AKT 23, 20-minute ETA as of 17:17. 2831, did you receive a hot shot? 319, roger.
15 also, 90 water is ETA, please.
319, 315, roger. Unit regarding monitoring MTT, repeat.
25 T10, ask L90, monitor the ACC, please.